Hey, what's up, guys? It's Clint and Curtis. We are back with an Elvis review. We got the good fortune of getting into a sneak preview of the Elvis movie on Tuesday. It doesn't come out until tonight, but we saw it I might go see it again tonight, just to be honest. And now we're going to hit you with our full review of this movie. We're not going to spoil too much, but we want to talk about some things. First of all, we're going to give you our first impressions. I liked the movie. I was surprised by this movie. I didn't know what I was going to think. I knew that Baz Luhrmann was going to do something over the top, but man, this was a spectacle, and I just enjoyed it. What about you, Curtis?
Same way, you always worry with a big property like this or a big name like this, but I thought it was spectacular. I could see some Oscar-worthy stuff going on there. I thought it was great.
Well, we're on the same page for that. And I knew I was looking over at you in the theater every once in a while. I'd have a big grin on my face. I'd look over at you and you had the same look on your face. Like we both genuinely had fun in this movie. So if you're looking for fun, just we can end the review right now and say, bam, it was fun. Go see it. If you like Elvis, you're going to have a good time. What was our favorite thing about the movie? My favorite thing about the movie was the visuals. They did a really good job with the visuals, and it was just like a spectacle. I'm getting spoiled. Modern day movies, watching all the Marvel and Star Wars and everything else out there, there's a lot of eye candy everywhere. And I like a boring, biopic movie sometimes. I like documentaries. I like all kinds of stuff. But this was like both. I'm getting to see some things about Elvis's life that I didn't know about, but also it was just beautiful to watch. What about you, Curtis? What do you think?
My favorite thing was that it was all-encompassing. Another good biopic is Walk the Line. However, the issue that I had with that movie is that it just covers like the first half of Johnny Cash's life. The second half of his life was, I would say, almost even more troublesome and movie-worthy, and they didn't plan on making a second one. This one is all-encompassing. Now, that means they do have to leave some stuff out, but it's the whole schmear. You go from, little Elvis all the way to his death, and they were able to pull it off.
Who's your favorite Elvis, little Elvis or big Elvis? This Elvis right here or young Elvis?
Well, I guess you call him middle Elvis. My favorite is 68 Comeback Elvis.
Comeback special. I still want one of those leather jumpsuits.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you want to know, how did Austin Butler do? How did he do in this role? What do you think, Curtis?
This kid knocked it out of the park. I mean, looks-wise, he looks like Elvis kind of, but there are ways that he doesn't as well. But he acts so well in the movie with the voice, with his mannerisms, with his cadence of speech, and he does, to a degree, look like him. Like, you forget that it's somebody else playing Elvis and that it's not the king, He did a spectacular job. I
completely agree with you. There's something about this guy, like, when I saw him at first, and I was against it. I said, man, because this guy, he's a good-looking man, and I'll compare him to a good-looking woman. Jennifer Garner has longer features. Her eyes are I won't say close together, but she has longer features, and he kind of has a bone structure kind of like that. So to me, I was like, no, and you wouldn't have Jennifer Garner playing Marilyn Monroe. It's just they look different. They're both beautiful women. Jennifer Garner's fantastic. Austin Butler, good-looking man. I just didn't think it would work, and it worked. I completely took it back, and there was a couple of times, especially when he got a little older and he was hiding behind sideburns and helmet hair. There's a couple of times I wondered, hey, is this new footage or old footage? Because they were sneaking it in every once in a while. And the supporting actors, how did they do? How was Priscilla? How was the Colonel? They were pretty damn good. Curtis, what are your thoughts on that?
Priscilla, the girl that played Priscilla, did a great job. Olivia DeJonge, she wasn't in the movie a lot. It was focused more on Elvis, of course. But the other, I guess you could say the antagonist of the film was Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker. Now, Tom Hanks is just going to do well in any movie. He's proven that. He's going to do well. He was playing basically a villain, and that he came off as villainous. But what was so strange to me is he has this voice in the film. And it's like he's playing Dracula. I don't get it. So I went back and I was like, I haven't seen a ton of interviews with Colonel Tom Parker, but
does he talk like that in real life?
No, he does.
What's the deal?
I don't know. I really don't. I can't understand why he would choose that. I went back and watched some old YouTube interviews, and he kind of talks funny, but he definitely doesn't talk like that. So I don't know why he chose to do that. But other than that, Tom Hanks still knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he definitely is doing a weird European kind of voice, and I don't know if it's because they don't know where the Colonel's from. There's theories, and he's trying to be like, oh, I'll do a European voice, and yeah, I noticed that, but I didn't know how authentic the voice was. I need to go back and look at some Colonel videos, but I will tell you, he was fantastic. He did a great job, and it really painted a picture of showing that he is a manipulative villain in the background that also tried to take care of Elvis, but also wanted to line his pockets, and it was basically an opportunist and exploited Elvis a little bit. When you told me that he did the hotel gig for 2 shows a day for 6 weeks, 7 days a week, that's exhausting. That's
insane.
It's insane. Like,
how could you even do that if you weren't on uppers? That's what I mean. Like, everybody talks about the drug use. I don't know how that's like. He's not just going out there and singing a few songs. He is leaving everything on the floor. Yeah, I mean, you had to be on something to be able to pull that off. And I'd also like to mention Kevin Harrison, who played a young B.B. King. I think he did a great job as well. The relationship that they show between he and Elvis, whenever Elvis was young, they had it seemed like a good, strong friendship. And Elvis really needed that. There were so many people that he would call friends, but basically were just exploiting him. And B.B. King was actually a friend to him and truly cared about his well-being. If he had stuck closer to people like that instead of going the other direction more towards Tom Parker's and the other members of the Memphis Mafia, his life may have turned out very differently, and we may have actually had him longer.
Yeah, it looked like they respected each other. You know what I mean? Like they were both loved musicians and entertainers, and it seemed like they had a mutual respect. I wondered watching that. I was like, that's cool that they both have a respect for each other. I wonder how real that is. Like, this is a biopic, so I wondered in real life, like if he really went over and hung out with B.B. King. And I mean, being a musician myself, I had a lot of local bands in town that I would go out, run into, and we were, respected each other and we're friends, so I thought that was kind of cool. I was saying earlier, man, this movie had some crazy visuals, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, but just for the people that are watching this review, what did you think? Like, I was kind of like dazzled in the beginning. I was like, wow, this is some crazy stuff.
So Baz Luhrmann's style works for the beginning of this film. I don't really like this director usually. I don't usually like his style. I think it works in this film because it does taper off. It's not as in your face as it is in the beginning. And I'm wondering if the reason that he did it in that regard is to pull in younger viewers, to kind of bring them into the idea of Elvis when they don't know anything about him. And then once they're in, they stick around for the story, and the visuals and a lot of that stuff kind of tapers off.
I was noticing, like, just out in public, talking to people and stuff, that there's a lot of younger people that are, like, you and I both had, our parents, were into Elvis, but, like, talking to people, like, yeah, I don't really know a lot about Elvis, but this kind of looks cool, and I'm wondering if you're right. Like, I was dazzled. Everyone knows I like shiny things. I love beautiful production and things, and it was amazing. And just like this stuff behind us, there was like that, but moving around and all kinds of really cool graphics and things happening in the beginning during some musical sequences. And we're about to talk about music in a second, but I was just blown away at the visuals. They didn't have as much of that in the second half, and I wondered if that's because they needed to fill in some gaps. Like we have a few stories about when he was real young, but we don't know that much. So we'll just make a shiny production out of it, and then later in the movie it kind of chills out and it's doing a lot more storytelling. Either way, if you need to entertain us to get us pulled in and then give us the story, you did a good job, Baz. Curtis, how did you like the musical aspects of this thing? I really enjoyed it. There was some tie-ins where it would like almost mashups where it would get into modern music mixed in with the old. I wouldn't usually like something like that, but I loved it.
I didn't like that about the music. Whenever I was watching it, it reminded me of the movie The Great Gatsby, which I did not like that movie. Well, Baz Luhrmann did that movie. What I don't like is how it's a period piece and they mix in modern music. It takes me out of it. If it's a period piece, You want to be within that time period. Again, I wonder if they did this to hook those new younger viewers with the newer music as well. But besides that, I love the music. And then it's always good, like whenever I'm watching a movie or something like that, and I hear an Elvis song, and I'm like, I don't even remember that one. Like, so now I got to go look up the the soundtrack, because there's at least 2 Elvis songs in there where I was like, I don't remember that one, because you hear the classics so often. I was like, that sounds good. I gotta listen to that one again.
I was not a fan of hearing newer music in this period piece in The Great Gatsby. It took me out. I thought it was weird. This one, it wasn't that drastic to me. I felt like it was done in a smarter way, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I was okay, because this movie also talks about bringing black culture into the mainstream, and Elvis is doing it. And it's kind of like, I kind of felt like bringing modern black culture and music in with this. I thought it was all relevant and it made sense. It wasn't like they just did it to be weird. To me, it made sense, and I thought it was cool.
That's a fair point. That's a really good point, actually. And I will say, I do agree, it was executed much better than it was in The Great Gatsby. I'm still not a fan of it, but it was not jarring. It was noticeable, but they executed it much better.
The big question is, did this movie exceed or fall short of our expectations? And should we recommend this movie? Should you go see this movie? This movie was fun. It was visually stunning. The cast was great. The music was great. The visuals were great. I mean, it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's a little long for some people. I never got bored. I had a great time. It was a fun ride. Yes, go see this movie. Curtis, what do you think?
Yes, I would absolutely recommend this movie to anybody. It's definitely fun, like you were saying. If you're a fan of The King, you're obviously going to dig it. And at the same time, too, it's very emotional. Like, I was teared up a good half the movie, probably on and off. It's a really emotional movie once you see what people did to this guy that just wanted to share his gift with the world. I loved it, and I'll probably be taking wifey to see it with me soon, and we're going to go check it out again. I'd recommend it to anyone.
Anyone, whether you like Elvis or not, you'll have fun in this movie. So go check it out, guys. Elvis, it's in theaters right now. Get out there and go check it out, and come back and let us know in the comments what you think about this movie. Tell us we're crazy. Tell us we nailed it, but just tell us. And also, every Friday, you can catch us right here at Clint Likes Everything, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. We're doing entertainment news, and every Friday night, we're doing movie battles. This week, we're going to do The King versus the Queen. It's going to be Elvis versus Bohemian Rhapsody. It's 2 fantastic movies, and that'll be a fun one. But you won't get notified if you don't hit the notification bell and click the subscribe button. So do that, and we're going to see you soon. Thanks for checking out another Everything Movies. This is Clint and
Curtis.
And we'll see you soon.